Hello everyone, welcome to the Practice and Master Excel YouTube channel. So today's video is on the different variations of the count function, which is count, count A, count blank, count if, and count ifs. So we'll be starting off with some data. So this is just data of game entries. So column F contains the rounds. There are 5 rounds in this data. Each round has 5 games, right? Each of the rounds have the same 5 games. Then on column C, we have the names of the winner of each game per round. And on column E, we have like the game duration, which is how long each game took. And then column B is just the data of the unique ID of each game, right? Then on column J, we have questions that we're going to answer based on this data here. So this file is going to be linked in the description box below so that you can download it at any time and practice at any time that you want as well. So let's begin. The first question says, how many game entries are recorded in total? So in this case, we'll use the count function. Note that the count function counts numbers, it doesn't count text. So like for instance, if we were to count the column B, which is the game ID, right? Drag this down, press enter. You see that we get 0 because these are not numbers. This is alphanumeric. So the count function would only count numbers. So in this case, we'll count the round, which is column F. So equal to count. Then select the data, press enter. And then we have 25 in total, which is correct because we have 5 rounds and each round has 5 games in total, making 25. So if this was data that was going to be incremented, maybe on a daily basis or something, we could as well just count the whole column, which is the whole of F, and press enter. So in this case, if new data is added to this table, the count function would calculate automatically without you needing to update it for any reason. So for the second question, how many game durations are recorded? So for this question, we could use either count or count A. Why? We can use count because it's a number. So we can use count, but let's use count A since we've used count in the first question. Now count A counts columns that are not blank, counts records that are not blank. So it will count any record in this column as long as it's not blank. So it doesn't look at whether the record is a number or a text. Whether number, whether text, it will count it so long as it's not blank. So let's build the function. So equal to count A, I select the data, press enter. So we have 23, which makes sense because we only have 2 blanks. So 23 out of the 25 games have a game duration recorded. So for the third question, what's the number of games without the duration recorded? So this is basically asking us to count the blank entries in the game duration column, right? In this case, we have 2, so we should get 2. So for this, we would use the count blank function because count blank columns, count blank records rather. So equal to count blank, and then we select the data, and we have 2, which is correct because we have just 2 blank durations. So it's 2 games without a duration recorded. The fourth question says, what's the number of games with duration greater than or equal to 10? So for this question, we cannot use count or count A because here there is a criteria, and count A only takes one argument. So in this case, we would use count if because with count if we can introduce a criteria. So let's build the function. So equal to count if, The range, we're counting the duration, right? So the range is the duration, and then the criteria is duration greater than or equal to 10. So we need to set it here, greater than or equal to 10. Put that in quotes, close the bracket, and press enter. Oh, I missed the equal to. So greater than or equal to 10, which is 6. So we can use a filter to check this just to be sure that the function is correct. So I put a filter on the game duration, click 10, click all the ones that are greater than or equal to 10, and we have 6, count as 6. So let's remove the filter and continue. So for the fifth question, we have what's the number of games won by each person? Create a function in this range, right? So I have the names of all the winners, which are gotten from column C. So since we're looking for the number of games won by each person, what that means is that we need to use the COUNTIF function in this case. So the range would be the data in column C, which is the winner name, and this would be the criteria. So equal to COUNTIF, the range, the winner name, comma, the criteria is the name of the person. So in this case, we use J17 and press enter. So Grace Adebayo won 7 games. So we don't need to repeat the formula, we can just drag it down. But before we drag it down, we need to log the range so that it doesn't shift. So with function F4, you can log the range, and that way it would not change when you drag it down to the rest of it. So this calculates for the next person. So David Chen has won 6 games, Lila Johnson has won 5 games, and the like. Then for the sixth question, how many times did Grace Adebayo win a chess game? So for this question, there are 2 conditions. So the first condition is the name is Grace Adebayo, the winner name is Grace Adebayo, and the second condition is that the game name is chess. COUNTIF only takes one condition, so COUNTIF cannot work for this case. So we need to use the COUNTIFs function so that we can put in these 2 conditions. So let's build the formula equal to COUNTIFs. The first criteria, which is the name, so we select the column that has the name, which is, or rather the range that has the name, which is C. And then we select that, comma, the name of the person, which is Grace Adebayo in this case. Then we need to put in the second criteria. So we first start with the range, which is the game name, right? Because we're looking for we're looking at chess in this case. So we select the second criteria, which is the game name, comma. The criteria is the name of the game, which is chess in this case. So click chess, press enter, and then the answer is 3. So we can do a filter to verify the results, but yes, we have our answer as 3. Now for the 7th question, how many Uno games lasted 4 minutes or more? So this also has 2 conditions. The first condition is the game is Uno, and the duration, the second condition is that the duration is greater than or equal to 4 minutes. So let's build this formula. So equal to, we use COUNTIFs since it has more than one condition. So for the first condition, game, we're looking at the game name, which is Uno. So we select the range that has the games, comma, type the name of the game in this case. Then the second criteria is the duration. So lasted 4 minutes or more. So we select the range that has the duration, and then we put the condition which is greater than or equal to 4 and press enter. So we have to. So if we look at this, two Uno games are listed. So I can already see one here, and this is the second one. This is two, so this did not qualify. This did not qualify. So we are correct. We have our answer is 2, and that is correct. So now for the final question, how many games played in round 3 had a duration between 3 and 7 minutes? So this final question has 3 conditions from what I can see. So the first condition is that the round is 3, which is this, so it's the third round. And then the second condition is that the duration is greater than or equal to 3, right? And then the final condition is that the duration is less than or equal to 7. So we use COUNTIFs again because the criteria are greater than 1. So view the formula equal to COUNTIFs. We select the first criteria, which is the round. So we select the range of that one. Then we type 3 because we're looking at round 3, comma. Then the second criteria, which is the game duration, right? Game duration greater than between 3 and 7 means it's greater than or equal to 3 and less than or equal to 7. So we're taking that as 2 different criteria. So, comma, we'll go with the smaller value, which is 3. So greater than or equal to 3. And then close the bracket. Then the final condition, which is we're still selecting the range, the game duration, comma, less than or equal to 7. In quotes, if it's not in quotes, it will not work. It has to be in quotes, except it's a number on its own. And then we press enter. So the value is 3. So we can confirm this one. So this is round 3. We have one game with duration of 4, another game with a duration of 4, and another game with a duration of 5, which is 3 games. So this is correct. We've come to the end of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you have a function that you'd like to see a practice exercise for, you can add that into the comments and I'll create that. Thank you so much. Don't forget the link to the file would be in the description box below. Thank you.